It's easy to love these funny-looking planes just for their sheer weirdness, but many of them were built to prove a point or to advance the science of aerodynamics. Here are 10 bizarre aircraft we love and the stories behind them. The Sikorsky Xwing. The Sikorsky Xwing was built to combine the speed and propulsive mechanisms of a jet with the vertical takeoff abilities of a helicopter. Unfortunately, the program was canceled in 1988, a long time after and far away from the first successful X-Wing. The Grumman X29. In 1984, the Grumman X29 proved that the underlying lifting properties of jet wing wouldn't be compromised even if the wings were angled in reverse. Alexander Lippisch's Aerodyne. To look at Alexander Lippisch's Aerodyne is to be baffled at how engineers managed to get such a crazy thing off the ground in the first place. And it's far from alone in the gallery of bizarrely shaped aircraft we've seen over the years. From balance-driven helicopters to inflatable airplanes, even a cursory tour through the history of aviation reveals some strange beasts that look little like the jet shape we're all accustomed to. Scaled Composites Model 281 Proteus. Bert Rutan designed the thin, tandem-wing scaled composites Model 281 Proteus, first flown in the late 1990s, to investigate the use of aircraft as high-altitude telecommunications relays. Thanks to its efficient design, this model was able to fly at 65,000 feet for over 18 hours. Blohm Voss BV 141. The Blohm Voss BV 141 is a stark reminder that symmetry is not required for a flying machine. This World War II-era German wonder was designed as a reconnaissance aircraft, and while a few dozen were built and flown, it lost out to the equally odd-looking Focke-Wulf FW-189 and never reached full production. Rutan Model 202 Boomerang. The Rutan Model 202 Boomerang is asymmetrical for an entirely different reason. This 1996 aircraft was built to still be controllable in the event of an engine failure for either of its twin engines. McDonald XF-85 Goblin. The McDonald XF-85 Goblin was built soon after World War II as a so-called parasite fighter, meaning it was built to be deployed from the bomb bay of a larger plane, the B-36. In the December 1948 pop mech, General Hoyt S. Vandenberg outlined how the little plane fit into America's new Air Force. But in 1949, the U.S. scrapped the Goblin alongside other parasite fighter projects and focused instead on developing methods of airborne refueling. Hughes H-4 Hercules Spruce Goose. A 200-ton monstrosity, the H-4 Hercules was nicknamed the Spruce Goose because of its wooden frame. The heavy transport aircraft is the largest fixed-wing seaplane ever built and was designed by filmmaker and business magnate Howard Hughes. Only one was ever built. Today, it sits in a museum in Oregon. For scientific discovery, aerogel. Rarely does a researcher invent an entirely new method of flying, but in November 2014 at New York University, applied mathematician Leif Ristroff did just that. Ristroff's naturally stable flying machine, the Aerogel, is only slightly larger than your hand and pumps its 4 flapping wings like a flying jellyfish. My lab is interested in studying air dynamics and flapping wing flight, says Ristroff, and I was trying to design something that was stable without any sort of feedback. And because you just can, Delacner HZ-1 Aerocycle. The balance-driven Delacner HZ-1 Aerocycle was built with the dual hope of flying single-man reconnaissance missions and building the greatest Bond villain chair of all time. A pair of crashes grounded the idea, but the dream lived on.